I thought I was getting an absolute bargain with this V6 Audi TT. Oh my God. But it's a lot worse than I thought it was gonna be. Now, this car had quite a long list of things that were wrong with it when I went to look at it. Brakes needed changing. Turned out the tyres all needed changing. They were some of the baldest tyres I've ever seen. Coolant had oil in it. That was the big fault. That was the crazy one, which I wasn't sure if it was just gonna be an oil cooler or a head gasket. Changed the oil cooler. Seems to be fine, so I'm confident that is fixed. The list just kept going. As I was fixing the car in the last episode, I was just finding more and more things that were wrong with it.
So, at the end of the last video,
I booked myself an MOT knowing that the things hadn't been fixed yet, but hoping that the deadline was going to help me get it all done in time. Unfortunately, in the last episode, we took it for its MOT and it failed. Now, what did it fail on, I hear you ask? That's the interesting stuff. Things I've already changed. Would you believe it? So in the last episode, I tried to change a few things, and I tried to do it not in the necessarily budget way, but in the DIY way. So to change the CV boots on the drive shaft, I bought a new tool. I bought the CV boots, I bought the grease, and I took the long route, which was slightly cheaper anyway, bonus, and changed all the CV boots with this new tool. Learned something new, had a fun experience. The car still shakes, and having only driven the car once from where I bought it to my garage, I didn't actually realize that the CV joints were clicking as you turn around a corner. So I should have just bought the new ones and changed those. Which means I've got some new drive shafts. God, they are really heavy. That's the first fix. The second fix is all the shocks. So I replaced the rears. As I was putting the top mounts on the fronts, they didn't look too bad, but they weren't really returning very much. So I should have changed those as well. Can you guess what's gonna be in here? Oh, it's not as heavy. That's right, it's a cardboard box. Now if you look over here, you can see there is a door card on the floor. Why is that? The passenger door handle wasn't working. This basically ended up being a refusal to pass the car at all. It's quite annoying, unfortunately. But I basically asked the guy if he'd just look over everything and just let me know what I needed to fix so I could bring it back and it would all be fixed.
so let's fix it.
I'm literally still finding ball bearings from the old top mounts. This is crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the really hard stuff, but it's actually stuff I've already done, so I know how much effort and time needs to go into it, and it's not that bad. Now you can hear that clunk. That is the looseness we're getting while we're driving, and that's also the hesitation from the gearbox. That is the drive shafts, which I should have changed for brand new ones. Lesson learned. I've got the tool if I need to just replace a CV boot that has just gone, but for the most part, brand new parts, that's going to be the way to go because it's going to save me a lot of time and effort in the long run. So I'm going to get the wheel off. We're going to get the old drive shaft off. We're going to get the old shock out, and then we're going to swap them over, put all the new gubbins in, get them back on, one wheel done. Let's do it. All right, I've rather stupidly but unsurprisingly lost the locking wheel nut key. I reckon I probably left it on when I took it for the MOT, and then it's just flung off somewhere.
Here's a clip from the last video where you can still see the key on the wheel after I've tightened it.
I didn't want to put the locking wheel nuts on because the actual locking wheel nut key thing is a bit mashed up, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get them on or off.
But anyway, so
Gonna try and get this off because kind of need to get this car fixed and sorted today and tomorrow. I've got these nut bolt extractor sockets. All I'm doing is slowly pushing it on. It's got these teeth, these grooves bite into the nut, and that should let me get it off. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna find out. It's not biting in. If anything, it's actually creating a little lip.
when in doubt, whack it. And then when the whacking doesn't work, weld it. I tried welding a nut onto the locking wheel bolt, but it just wasn't working.
Sometimes you make these decisions and they are not the right ones. So it's not really welded itself to the nut very well, but
It looks like it's partly welded to the locking wheel bolt, which kind of makes this harder.
let me just try and weld it again.
But again, no luck.
Stubborn little bugger. Right, let's do something else instead. Right, so an update on the coolant. I'm flushing it again because it was looking pretty gross still. That was from me using my oil drain bucket anyway. So that blackness is from draining the old engine oil. So you kind of got to disregard the color there. It's more like that. That's what it was looking like. So I can't really tell if that's still old engine oil or if that's new engine oil that's mixed in after I've changed the oil cooler. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm sort of quietly hoping that this is just old engine oil that was in there that needs to be flushed out a few more times, and then hopefully that should be good to go. It's kind of hard to tell because I can't really drive the car, so I don't really know. It just needs to mix around a few more times. So I'm just running it, letting it idle, Got the garage doors open as well, so there's some good air ventilation going through. I've topped it up again, just gonna see what happens. I've also put in quite a bit of degreaser this time, so hopefully that will sort it out. Interestingly, you can see here, this is clear. It's just water in there at the moment. I put some engine degreaser in and a little bit of antifreeze, and they were both pink. This is still clear. That to me means the degreaser still hasn't circulated round. So I'm just gonna leave it for a bit.
And in the meantime, I need to get rid of this oil coolant mix. Because oil is less dense than water, it always floats on top of it. We can use this knowledge to our advantage by lowering a cup just below the surface level, and the oil will flow in but the coolant won't. I'm then pouring the oil into a container that I'll take to my local recycling centre. And slowly but surely we can clear away all the oil until there's just coolant left, and we can put that in another container and it can be properly disposed of. All the bubbles you can see coming out was air that was trapped in the coolant system. As the air comes out, the liquid goes in, so I need to keep topping it up and can then flush it again.
We're getting desperate here, so I've drained the coolant a few times, still getting some oil in there. I don't know if it's old coolant that was in the tank or if it's new coolant that's going from the oil cooler / head gasket into the coolant reservoir. I put a message out in the Audi TT Mark II Facebook group chat, and someone said put a dishwashing tablet in there, let that circulate around, and that will break down any remaining grease. Then put a pressure washer in the top, use the pressure washer to shoot down so it clears everything out. Don't do this.
Sometimes you just can't wait hours for the coolant to cool down.
Oh. Not that bad. I was sort of trying to show something here. I don't really know what the story is, but overall I think the story is there's oil in the coolant.
I'll keep doing flushes, but let's move on to the door, which somehow now magically opens. I took off the door card and tried pulling this latch handle cable, and the mechanism looked like it was working fine. I then looked at the latch itself and saw it was really gunked up and gross. So I sprayed it with some degreaser, gave it a wiggle, and it worked. I then needed to put everything back together, including this cracked grille, which actually when you put it back in, you can't see the cracks because of the honeycomb shape. That's a win. I think this happened just because the passenger door was never opened. But now that's done, let's move on with the rest of the interior. This is the driver's side door card, and I'm just taking off the internal sound deadening. This is the window switch, and you can see it's really gunked up. There's loads of dirt in there, so I gave it a good clean out, sprayed it with some electrical cleaner, and then put it back in, and whoop whoop, we are windowing! Next up is the parcel shelf holder. The 3 pins that hold it to the car have all snapped off, so I'm going to replace it with bolts where I've cut the heads off. I'm then drilling out the snapped off pins, and I'm putting the bolts in with some nice strong Gorilla Glue. Give it a good whack, and it's done. It's in theory going to be stronger than the original part now, because it's metal as opposed to plastic. Now because I'm still getting engine oil in the coolant, even after several flushes, I'm panicking that there's something else wrong with the car. So I'm going to test that the replacement oil cooler is working as it should with no leaks, and using this little doohickey to show me if there's a head gasket leak. If the blue liquid changes to yellow or green, it means the head gasket is bad. Luckily, after 20 minutes of running, it stayed blue, so the head gasket is fine. I've then also connected the 2 coolant hoses of the oil cooler together, so if there's an oil leak coming from the oil cooler, it should pour out of either of these 2 holes. Luckily nothing's coming out, so the head gasket's good, the oil cooler's good. That means it's just residual oil that's in the system that I just need to keep flushing out.
Okay, next up on the list, either the spray bits that spray the liquid onto the windscreen are blocked or damaged or something else. So I was just trying to investigate it, but they're not actually working. Look, so put it on, nothing happens, right? Squeezy, squeezy, nothing happens. Looked in the fuse box, so you just take this cover off, there's fuses underneath there. Took that off, couldn't see anything that was windscreen wiper related. Came around to the front, some more fuses in here. Found that the wiper motor fuse was fuse number 8. Had a look at it, no damage, no blown fuses. Could not work out what it was. Then I was like, the bonnet's open. I wonder. Yay, they work again. And as an added little bonus, oh Jesus. So yeah, everything works.
Everything else on the list I'm waiting for parts for, but the main one is the locking wheel nut key, and
finally, it has arrived. The piece, the missing piece of the puzzle. That is the wheel lock nut key thing. So we can get the wheels off, get the drive shafts in, get the shocks in, get this car done.
Unfortunately though, this rubbish cheap quality key just broke on the first use. I put my bolts on tight and it just sheared straight off. Now all the jobs that I had left on the car involved me taking the wheels off. I had a couple of days off work and I didn't want to waste them, so my last option was to drill the bolts out. These locking wheel nuts also had spinning rings on the outside, so I couldn't just hammer a socket over the top and get them off that way. I had to drill them out. I've made a whole video on it if you want to see me struggle. But the next issue is the shocks. On Audi and VW cars, the hub tightly grips the bottom of the shock so it holds it in place. I had to hammer a chisel into the gap to widen it enough. It was crazy. This socket didn't fit in the gap with the old shocks. This is my buddy Jack who's come to help me for a bit.
So coming over to this side, because I know what I'm doing, I'm going to see how long this side takes me to do. I reckon I could get this done in 2 hours. Drive shaft out and shock absorber replaced. Let's see how long it takes.
Here I've removed the wheel, the tie rod and the sway bar linkage.
Everything is out. That took about 25 minutes with Jack's help, so probably more like 35-40 minutes on my own. Now, got to clean up all this disgusting grease and then get everything back in.
Next up is swapping over the springs on the shocks using the scariest tool in the garage, the spring compressors.
I'm really scared. Oh!
Now I've got my fully rebuilt shock and my new drive shaft in, I had to put everything back together. Unfortunately Jack had to leave and this was so much harder on my own.
Let's get down here. Sorry Chips, it's a bit messy in here. Awesome, that took me about 2 hours to put everything back in. So 2 hours 45 to do one side. Everything's done up nice and tight. I'm going to put the under tray back on quickly and then we're going to move to the back and we're going to do the drop link.
Now this was so much easier. Undoing 2 bolts, looking at how bad the old one was, putting the shiny new one on, job done.
So it's a special day today. So it's actually my birthday. Yay! Happy birthday to me. Am I going to tell you how old I am? Yeah, 31. Lots to come this year. Hopefully this is going to be the year where this all takes off. For now, still on the Audi, but we're getting there. This should be the last video where we get it all up and running, absolutely finished. MOT done, ready to go. So I've written a list of everything I've got left to do. I think this is it till the car's completely finished, which is really exciting. First, bleed brakes. I've already got my solo brake bleeding system set up. So it's literally just reservoir of brake fluid connected to the top of the brake reservoir on the car. Then this black hose runs to the wheel. You've got to deflate the tire a little bit because you need max 20 PSI. Otherwise it's too much, it makes, I don't know, makes the system explode or something. And it uses the pressure from the tire to force brake fluid into the system. And then coming to the back wheel, I've got this pipe attached to the brake nipple, which I've cracked off ever so slightly. You can see some fluid is just starting to come out. If I twist it, which will twist the nipple at the same time, should start to see some fluid make its way out. It's actually dripping down from the bottom because, let me close this off because we're done. This didn't have a cap on the top, so that is obviously blocked and it's all just coming out of the bottom, which is fine. I've still bled everything out. I've just put a little catch tray at the bottom. Ignore that, that's not there. No, there we go, lovely. Cool, so brakes are bled. Just press the pedal, rock solid. Brakes, done. Let's tighten the handbrake. I'm in the back seat, so I need to pry this up. See in there, that bolt, which is 10 mil, is the one we need. So I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit and then we should be good to go. Lovely. Now while I'm in there, I'm going to get the rest of the interior finished, which involves changing the mirror switch, putting on a new sun visor clip, and also reattaching the door card. So here's the old sun visor clip. You can see the actual clip bit is broken. So peel it off. Now I've got a new one, which just slides in like that. Just slides in like that. Come on, just slides in. And there we go, it's in. It's a slightly different shade of black, but I don't think it's very noticeable. Yeah, it's in. It's not going anywhere.
Forgot to film the mirror switch bit, but it works.
Door card's back on. We're making good progress. I was just looking in the back, there's a little compartment here, and there was this cool first aid kit, which obviously hasn't been touched, but pretty chunky. There's quite a lot of good stuff in there. But there's also
this suspicious packet. That might have been why the car stank of weed when I got it. Right, cracking on.
Mirror switch, sun visor clip, done. Again, there's not that much left to do actually. Polish the headlights. So screw wise, there was one there, one down there, which you can loosen and get off after you've done these two, and then one there. So you've got 4 in total.
I mainly needed to change the bulbs, but here you can see the headlights are pretty hazy and gross. So I'm wet sanding them with some high grit sandpaper, then I'm using my polisher to polish them out.
Quite a few twists and turns on this headlight saga. I've polished it It looks terrible, not great at the polishing, still working on that. So I'm gonna clear coat it, make it look nice and shiny and fresh. But this headlight is blue. These ones all work now. That one, low beam, high beam, position, or whatever that one's called. This one, however, which is not actually here, has this guy. I didn't know what this was for a while. I kept seeing it. It doesn't look stock because it's literally held in with a cable tie. I realized it's a Xenon upgrade kit, but the bulb has gone. So I'm just gonna put the standard bulbs back in. I'll leave that in, I'll say it's there. If someone wants to put the Xenons back in, they can, but I prefer just sticking with original stuff. Stock for cars like this is just better, I think. This one's out, gonna get this one back out, because if I'm putting a normal stock bulb in that one, I also have to put it in this one. This one's all back together, so I'm just gonna take it out. I'll swap the bulb out as well, and then I'll paint them, chuck them back in. Gonna look crispy AF.
Mwah. Delicious. I've picked up my replacement bulb and I'm putting everything back together.
It's absolutely mental. A bee just flew into my ear. God, that could have been terrible. I haven't been that scared in a while. Jeez. Whew. Right, let's keep going. Just touching up these scratches, of which there are quite a few on this side, but they look to just be surface scratches, so I reckon they'll come out nice and easy.
I used my polisher with some cutting compound and it got rid of most of the scratches.
Right, it is 9 o'clock. The MOT is in 45 minutes. I need to go get some fuel, but we're off. I think it might pass. I've done all the things. I've obviously been there last time and I have the list of all the bits that I needed to fix. So in theory, we should be good to go. Here we go. Yep, all feels good. No noises, that's good. The heater is coming out nice and warm as well, so it doesn't feel like it's blocked, which for the coolant oil issue, that's a really good sign because it means that there's not oil blocking up the heater matrix. Those new drive shafts are feeling really good as well. Before it was clunk, go, whereas now it's just go, which is great because that means I've fixed the issue there. Whew, this is a really solid start. I'm feeling really chuffed so far. God, it is a rainy day though, which not the best for testing out the car, but then we've got brand new tires, so that's good. Brakes have been bled. This car is ready to go. I'm actually loving it as well. It's really comfortable inside, really cozy. You can hear one of the brakes is rubbing a bit. Right, here we go. I'm gonna put it in sport mode. I'm gonna give it some beans. Oh, oh my God, that was amazing. That was so fast, Jesus. And with the new drive shaft, it just goes straight away. Sport mode is absolutely where it's at. That is so much more fun. Jeez, wow. Oh, I really like this car. Let's go at this intersection. Oh, it just goes. You can, like, I was almost pulling out in front of someone there and it just went. So yeah, we'll be putting this car up for sale. My plan is to start buying and selling cars and try and flip them to try and get to my dream car. But I've also written a list of all the cars that I've always wanted to try, kind of dream cars. So I'm gonna try and tick all the cars off the list, working my way up to my dream car. So let's fingers crossed get the car MOT'd and then I'll check back in. We are at Caffeine and Machine, which means we have officially passed. The car is road legal. What? This is the best moment. The car's done, the stress is over, you know it's legal, you can do whatever you want with it. For me, it's gonna be selling it. There are a couple of advisories. One is the lower gearbox mount, and there's a little bit of oil on the under tray. So I'm just gonna change the gearbox mount, change the oil on the under tray. I'm also gonna touch up the paint because I'm not super happy with it, but the car is basically done. I could put it up for sale now and be happy. So a couple of little bits, it's kind of hard to see it, but the paint where I've touched it up doesn't quite match. In certain lighting, you can see it. It is also a bit dirty, so it's kind of hard to work out where it is. But yeah, everything's working fantastically. The car's driving really nicely. I'm just super happy. I'm really loving this car as well. It's missing the wheel center caps. I've got them at home. I just need to put them on. It looks really good with the new chrome wheel bolts as well. All around, I just think this is gonna be a great car for someone. It's a cheap, fun V6 that just ticks all the boxes, drives really nice, is really comfortable, automatic, so it's good on long journeys. It's cheap to run. I'm just happy. I'm over the moon with this. I'm so chuffed that this is done. I'm gonna be a little bit sad to see this car go, but we wanna get to a dream car. So I will be selling this one. I've already got the next car on the drive. I've really wanted one of these for a long time, so I'm very excited for that too. Stay tuned for the next video if you wanna see what it is. And in the next video, I'll let you know how the sale of this one goes, how much I've made, what profit I've made, all that good stuff. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's start getting to those dream cars. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.